Hey everyone, Lewis aka Spider-Man 1991 here with another graphic novel review. Well, graphic novels, so to speak, because this is a big story arc I'm going to be talking about today, and it is Batman No Man's Land. If you read Batman comics in the 90s, you know that there were probably two big story arcs that really got people talking. Nightfall and No Man's Land. Now, the thing about No Man's Land is, even though there is the actual story arc called No Man's Land, it actually is sort of a three-parter, so to speak. There are three story arcs that pretty much led... There's actually two story arcs prior to that led to No Man's Land. The first one, Cataclysm, is the story where the actual earthquake hits Gotham City, and we see everyone in the city's reactions, including Batman, when the earthquake destroys Wayne Manor and destroys the Batcave as well. And the second part is Road to No Man's Land, which is basically Batman and the GCPD trying to maintain order in the city, and then Bruce Wayne has to go to Washington D.C. to request federal aid to help rebuild Gotham City. And unfortunately, that doesn't go so well, and the government decides to declare the city No Man's Land, meaning that Gotham is officially shut down. Anyone who didn't evacuate the city in the 3-day period that the government gave them is pretty much stranded in the city, and all Batman's foes are pretty much running amok, taking over, and it's just basically become a giant gangland. Also, the story arc No Man's Land explores how Gotham is divided in constant turf war, with Batman trying to reclaim the city, as well as the GCPD, who are also trying to maintain order and reclaim some territories too. And it's a constant battle. It's always changing. It's not like Batman shows up and immediately starts taking everything back. No, there are moments where he actually loses territory, both Batman and the GCPD. So since, as you can tell, this is one of the biggest Batman stories that I have ever read. And true, you can just read No Man's Land if you want to, but I really think that if you want the full story, you really need to go back and start with Cataclysm, then Road to No Man's Land, then the actual story arc, No Man's Land. And when it comes to comic books, I am a completionist. I like to make sure I get the full story before diving on into the main event. So there are two big moments in this arc that I liked that had Batman sort of backed into a hard place. The first moment was the earthquake completely destroying the Batcave, destroying all of Batman's tech, rendering it useless. And also, Alfred and Batman were in the cave at the time, so they're trapped in, and Batman has to basically swim through some of the crevasses in the cave in order to find a way out. And also, after Bruce fails to get any federal aid to help save Gotham City, he decides to basically give up being Batman for good and just be Bruce Wayne full time. The only problem is he hates it. Bruce pretty much just used his Bruce Wayne identity to just be sort of a flashy playboy to help distance himself from suspicion from being Batman. And this time when he actually has to use this identity full time, he really hates it, and he just can't. And ultimately, though, when he runs into Talia al Ghul again, she kind of gives him the encouragement to go back to Gotham and fight for his city. However, it's not as easy. With the city being destroyed, Batman it's not the same thing anymore. Batman pretty much has to go back to square one, and he has to relearn the lay of the land, so to speak, where to go, what are the best paths to take, and and in this whole back to basics approach, Batman decides that the best way he should probably do this is by working alone. So he basically cuts off contact with most of his allies. However, Batman working alone, and also his sudden disappearance after the government after it shut down Gotham, pretty much nearly destroyed his relationship with Jim Gordon. In fact, at the beginning of the actual story arc, at the GCPD headquarters, one cop does manage to make like sort of a makeshift bat signal, and when Jim Gordon sees this, he immediately destroys it, says, "No, we're not doing this anymore. He's not coming. He gave up on us. That's it." Ultimately, though, later, towards the end of the story, Batman and Jim do kind of get their relationship back on track and start to work together again, which is nice. And it's also seeing how when Batman also realizes that he does need his allies' help, he not only has to repair his city, but he also has to repair his relationships with his allies. Also, this story arc does feature the first appearance of Cassandra Cain as Batgirl, and it ends with, spoiler alert, the death of Jim Gordon's second wife, Sarah Essen. Overall, this is one of the biggest Batman stories ever, and I think it's definitely on the list of essential Batman comics you need to read. Okay, so that's it for me. Thank you again for watching. Check out my channel for other comic book reviews that I do. Subscribe, get notified, all that jazz. Thanks again for watching. I'm Spider-Man 1991 saying, see you later.